Okay, so I've been uploading some crazy stuff lately. I uploaded like the worst slam I've ever seen. I uploaded the worst knockout I've ever seen. And now I'm going to upload the, I guess this is also a knockout, but this one's an upkick. And I'll show you what I mean. If you don't know what an upkick is, watch this. So this is from the, an event from forever ago. It was called Martial Arts Reality Superfighting. And when I post it, I'll post the date and stuff. But it was Renzo Gracie versus Oleg Taktarov. And I realize this is not a good recording, okay? This is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. I used to go to this pub where, like, I don't know how they got it, but if you gave them like $10, they would make like a VHS recording of it for you. And anyway, I realize this isn't so good, but don't worry. You'll be able to see the upkick and the knockout. No problem whatsoever. So, here's Oleg Taktarov. For those of you that don't know him, he's probably most famous for, he fought, I think he won UFC 6, I believe. He fought Tank Abbott in the finals. And I can remember when I was watching that UFC, I was thinking to myself, if this guy doesn't win, you know, I'm going to quit martial arts forever. If you know, if a world Sambo champion trained by the Russian military can't beat, you know, a big fat guy, you know, Tank Abbott was strong and he knew how to box and wrestle, but the UFC wasn't telling us that. They were saying he was, you know, just some guy off the street. Anyway, I remember Oleg Taktarov and Tank Abbott threw down. I think he went on to fight Ken Shamrock in UFC 7. He fought Marco Ruas, I think, was that UFC 8? And then he fought him again in Pride, and he fought in Brazil, and, but anyway, I mean, the guy's no joke. Although he is most famous for bleeding. Probably not the best thing to be famous for, but like, one of the old jokes about Oleg Taktarov with that, he would start bleeding like during the introductions, and in this corner, and then Oleg Taktarov would be bleeding or whatever, you know what I mean? I guess they're bringing in Renzo Gracie now. Renzo Gracie was actually recently in town, but I couldn't go to the seminar because I'm, you know, a father and stuff, busy things, you know, to do. Renzo Gracie also has fought, he never fought in the UFC, but he fought basically everywhere else. He fought in Pride, he fought in the IFL, he fought in this, he fought in the World Combat Championships, another one I'll upload. He fought in Pentagon Combat, which I have, I'll upload that too. And so for the time, this was actually an incredible fight. You know, like nobody that I knew could believe they managed to like bring these two titans together. And at the time, like, this was like, you know, there's certain fights you wanted to see, they never happened, you know? Like, I don't know, Rickson Gracie versus Kazushi Sakuraba never happened, and, you know, others, you know? This was a fight everybody wanted to see, and we got to see it, you know? And it ended in a way that was not, how shall I phrase this? It demonstrates the effectiveness of a certain technique. You know what I mean? I don't believe before this fight anyone had been knocked out by an upkick before. And this one really was an eye-opener. Like, oh, geez, upkicks are a serious thing. And, you know, obviously, spoiler alert, you know, someone gets knocked out with an upkick. But I'm trying to upload fights here that, like, I learned from years ago. You know, the biggest slam ever, you know, the soccer kick one that I uploaded the other day. This one shows the importance of upkicks. And I don't think anyone got knocked out with an upkick in Pride, even though you could upkick. People got stomped. I don't know if anyone got stomped into unconsciousness. And in the UFC back in the day, I don't think anyone got knocked out with an upkick like this. But watch this, okay? So, Sambo versus jiu-jitsu. You know, Sambo is kind of a Russian combination of judo and jiu-jitsu and some other stuff, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu or Gracie jiu-jitsu. This is the old style. This isn't the stuff you see, you know, in tournaments these days, you know, back in the day. I mean, and again, apologies, this is not a good copy, but you can see what's going on. Oleg's on the left in the black shorts there, Renzo's on the right in the white shorts. And we were all wondering, like back in the day, we all thought, okay, Sambo guys are known for their leg locks. What's going to happen here? Is Renzo Gracie going to get caught in some kind of wacky leg lock? What's he going to do? You know what I mean? And I remember this fight, Oleg Taktarov has that thing in his hand, it's all taped up or whatever, so like maybe he had a hand injury or whatever. Not that that's relevant to this fight, you know? And I don't know if you can tell by this, but he's got like a big long, he's got like a tensor bandage around his leg, so anyway, Renzo is trying to take Taktarov down. Taktarov's stopping his takedowns, and now Renzo's in his back. Now watch this. Watch this. Bam. Right there. See? Then he comes up, knee on the belly, punch in the face, and the crazy thing about this, and then Taktarov's knocked unconscious, you know? And the crazy thing about this is watch what happens. Taktarov stands up, and then he denies he was knocked unconscious. Watch this. Watch this. I don't know if you can tell because it's kind of a bad recording, but anyway, Renzo was on his back, and Taktarov was like all bent over, which you shouldn't be, obviously. It's what we all learned from this fight. And then, you know, one up kick, took it right in the cheek. And of course, Taktarov's bleeding, as he is during all his fights, more or less. And look at that. See? And this was the fight where we all learned, damn, when someone's on their back, you need to watch out for up kicks. You know? And, you know, we had never seen this before. And I'm tempted to say we'd never seen it subsequently. Like, I don't think we saw a fight end like that even after that. And look, Taktarov's like, why is the fight over? He can't even remember. Like, Renzo wants to shake his hand, and Taktarov's like, but the fight, there was nothing happened. And, like, we all saw what happened. Taktarov took an upkick right in the cheek. He falls down like a dead man. And now the referee's explaining to him, dude, you were out. Like, you went out and you were on your back. Renzo Gracie came up to knee on belly and smacked you in the face, you know, punched you. And Taktarov's like, yeah. Taktarov's refusing to shake hands. He's denying the fight is over, you know. But anyway, it's funny how, like, maybe it's the time of the fight, but there are certain fights that, like, seeing now Renzo's, you know, sayonara or whatever, you know. There are certain fights that taught us all everything, taught us all something, and this was one of them, you know. And Taktarov still won't leave the ring, you know. It's funny, there's been a few fights where the fighter, like, denies. The only other one I could think of was Kazushi Sakuraba versus Conan Silveira, but at least in that one, Kazushi Sakuraba had a point, like the referee had stopped it incorrectly. This referee here, this fellow with his lovely mustache, he stopped the fight correctly. Taktarov was out. He was bleeding all over the place. He was flat in his back. Renzo Gracie took knee on belly and punched him in the face, you know? And at this point, they should just be, not that I've ever refereed mixed martial arts, but, you know, Renzo's telling his corner to just be quiet and stuff. Because he knows, at this point, you just raise somebody's hand, you call it a day, you know? I wonder if they show him the replay, and Taktarov's still arguing with him. Watch this, he's going to show him the replay right here. Watch this. Watch this. Maybe they show the replay, I don't know. Renzo Gracie, yeah. I've met Renzo twice. Super nice guy. He came to Vancouver to do a seminar, and then like years later I saw him at in an ADCC, and he remembered my name, and he was like, oh, hey Jeff, how you doing? And I was like, damn. Because imagine how many people he meets in a day, you know? Actually, I interviewed Oleg Taktarov years ago when I worked for Bodog. I asked him one question, and then he talked for 45 minutes, you know? I was like, hey, how does it feel being in America? And then he talked for 45 minutes. Whoa! See there? Up kick, down he goes, then watch this. Here's a fine example of knee on belly. Boom! There's only been 2 fights where knee on belly, this one, and Vitor Belfort versus John Hess. Those were the 2 fights where knee on belly was like, demonstrated the effectiveness of it. See? Taktarov takes Renzo down, which is kind of dumb. If you want to stay standing with him, why? And then watch this, he's bent over. Boom! Right in the cheek, down he goes. Here comes Renzo. There you go. You know? So anyway, if you don't think that's a clean stoppage, put it in the comments below, but I disagree with you. That was that stoppage was correct. Taktarov was out, you know? So, you know, part of me wishes this had been a longer fight involving different things, but at least it showed us something that, you know, we could all learn from. That being the effectiveness of up kicks, which nobody knows about these days because it's illegal in the UFC. Pride doesn't exist anymore. You know, people don't see this stuff now. So, you know, it's funny how we all learned stuff back in the day, back in the 90s, that it's kind of been forgotten, you know, because people don't see it in fights anymore, and they're all watching Conor McGregor or whatever, and it's all under these rules of whatever. But anyway, up kicks, they work. That's the message, that's the lesson we can learn from this one. Anyway, I guess that's it. Taktarov is still walking around in the circle of whatever it's called, circle of doom or whatever they called it. So anyway, like I said, remember the effectiveness of up kicks. Oh, here we go. She's going to interview him. Here we go.
People are going to ask for a rematch. What do you think?
And the people who said I was lucky, but as the more I train, as lucky as I got. So
I don't know if you can hear it, but people might say I was lucky, but the more I train, the luckier I get, you know?
What does this victory mean to you?
It's another victory to my clan and also to all the people who support me and who believe me, especially my American students.
He's thanking his American students, and, you know.
What is next for Renzo Gracie?
He's wearing a Krugen's kimono. Man, they haven't made Krugen's kimonos in forever, you know? Anyway. Something else kind of fun. Anyway, Taktarov should not have taken him down, you know? He should not have taken him down. Not that I have any business critiquing the technique of anybody, but he should not have taken him down. If you want to keep it standing, keep it standing. And then he shouldn't have bent over like this. Like, look at that. Don't bend over when a guy's on his back and up kicks are legal. Or on the street, you know? If it's a, you know? Boom. Down he goes. You know? Boom. That's a perfectly placed kick and a perfectly placed punch. You know? Yeah. Taktarov's completely out.
In your astute opinion, then, the referee did indeed do the right thing by stepping in at that time.
Exactly. I don't think there's any question about it.
Well, gentlemen, we have had a sensational evening in the Circle of Truth.
The Circle of Truth. That's what they're calling it. I love it when the different events, they have a different name for their... The Circle of Truth. You know what I mean? If you think your wife is cheating on you, you take her in there and ask her the question, you know? Who is Ricardo? Is he really your tennis instructor? And then, you know, it's like Wonder Woman's lasso. It's the Circle of Truth or whatever. Anyway, enough of my chatter. Watch out for up kicks. See you next time.